Hey guys, welcome back to Spiritual Bongwater, episode 3, The Blunt Truth. I'm your host, Cass, and today I'm going to be spilling the bongwater about how my best friend and my kid's dad became the main characters in a story that I never saw coming. So, for real, I didn't see it coming. I was oblivious. I thought that both of these people loved me so much, I never thought that they would do the things they did. So let's get started. So originally, how I met this girl is she was engaged to one of my very good homegirls, and my homegirl passed away. So, we started hanging out. I met her through another mutual friend of our friend who passed away. And we were going over to her house hanging out. And then she, started coming over to my house to smoke with us and stuff. And she was telling me about everything she was going through, and I felt really bad. So she was staying with us a lot because her parents treated her like crap. So we literally had her over all the time. She's sleeping on the couch. And, I didn't think anything of it until it was way too late. So, some backstory on me and my ex. We were together for 8 years. We have 2 kids together. And then he is the stepfather of my 2 oldest children. And, he had cheated on me before and stuff, but I thought like we had gotten past that because I left him for 6 or 7 months at one point. And after that, it seemed like he had learned his lesson and he proposed. I was like, yeah. He had my sisters and my family help him propose. He had my sister paint signs, and my kids and my nephew all held them up, and they said, "Will you marry me?" And I want to say about a month later, I flew out to Ohio to go shopping with my 2 actual best friends, like my 2 ride or dies, for my wedding dress. And I actually found a wedding dress and I bought it, a $930 wedding dress. So, I come back and it was a little weird because she was staying there with him while I was gone and, watching my kids while he was at work because I was gone, And so, things started getting a little rough between me and him around this time. And I'm like, I don't understand why you just proposed if you want to fight all the time. And she was like, oh, you're like a sister to me. I love you so much. Like, da 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 da. Yeah. Aren't they always? Don't they always? And of course, me thinking that she's like, into chicks, I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry. And, I think about it and there's signs that I miss. Like one day I went down to get the mail and I came back upstairs and they were like way too close to each other when I came back up. And I was like, what the fuck? And they just played it off like it was nothing. And then, we were having issues with one of the neighbors there. That'll be another episode. But we were having issues with one of the neighbors there and literally, it was causing more tension where we lived and he was fighting with me more and he was getting really jealous because at this time I was, starting to run a business and doing modeling and social media. And he would get like super crazy when people would comment or like message me. And I'm like, I get it. But at the same time, like, it's not about what they say. It's about how I respond, and I respond appropriately. So we would fight a lot. And this particular, first really bad day, I had posted a picture online and got some comments and he was super upset and I was leaving to go to work and he hopped in the back of my car and wouldn't get out. And I literally had to open the trunk because it was an expedition. So lift gate. And I literally rolled my car back and slammed on the brakes to try and throw him out of the car. And I just didn't understand why he was acting so crazy. And in hindsight, it's because the guilty accused, when people are doing things to you, they're worried that you're doing them to them too, And so, we ended up, having more issues with the neighbor and I filed a complaint with the office and they used the reason for kicking us out of our apartment of me and Timmy fighting in the parking lot. So whatever. That was really not why they kicked us out, but they used it as their excuse. And, we had 2 months to find somewhere else. So here comes, homegirl. And she's like, oh, we can move back into the house that me and, my homegirl who passed away lived in. So we move into this house. I clean the whole house. I shampoo the carpets because this girl left the cats inside and they peed everywhere and it was gross. So I clean this whole house. We start living there. I'm paying the bills because when I was working events, I was making about $1,400 a week. I was literally paying for this girl's whole life. I paid for her cigarettes, her alcohol, her weed, her tampons, her fucking rent, her bills, her alcohol, just because she was watching my kids for me so I could work. So I'm like, I don't mind doing this for you. You're making it so that I can make money. Like, I appreciate you, right? Wrong. So, sometimes when the kid's dad was home, I would literally take her to work with me so that she could go have fun at these events I worked at. And I, come to find out eventually, like, the only reason she went with me was to spy on me for my kid's dad so that they would know if I was cheating on him. Which is wild because, like, you're literally, bro, you're looking me in the eye every day telling me you love me while you're fucking my baby daddy. Who the fuck does that? Okay, like, that is some sick shit. But, so I ended up leaving him eventually because a lot was going on and he wouldn't sleep with me. Like, I tried for 3 months and nothing. And, at that point, you're kind of like, well, if you're not sleeping with me, you're sleeping with someone else. So I broke up with him and I kicked him out of the house. And she's still staying in the house with me, mind you. So she's there literally just to spy on me. I found out in the end. But I kicked him out and I actually started talking to someone that I met at work. And this person lived up north in Humboldt area. So I literally one weekend rented a car and drove up there to see him. And I spent the weekend with him. And while I was gone, I was trying to video chat my children. And they kept refusing to let me speak to my children. And I'm just like, this is weird. Why? Why won't you let me talk to the kids? And he's like, well, tell me what you really are. And of course I had told her where I was going because she's my best friend. Duh. So that was, great way to spy on somebody. So I'm out there. I'm trying to video chat my kids. He's like, well, where are you really? And I'm like, I'm with so-and-so, the person I told him I was going to hang out with. And he's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, well, I mean, why do you care? I'm pretty sure you're fucking someone else. And he's like, brings up Ashley. And I'm like, oh, so you're fucking Ashley? And he's like, well, of course I'm fucking a nice bitch when mine is so mean. Mind you, like, if you were with someone for 8 years and they cheated on you multiple times, including texting someone while they were sitting next to you at lunch while you're 8.5 months pregnant with their child, talking about sleeping with that person after they get off work, you wouldn't always be the nicest either. And like, I tried to be forgiving and let shit go, but like certain shit was very triggering and it would like make me a little snappy. So I literally extended my trip a day because I knew if I went back that day, I would probably have ended up in jail, to be quite honest. Because to sit there and tell someone you love them and think that they really care about you, for that person to sit there and look for who he's cheating on you with in your phone with you on Facebook, knowing it's them, that's like diabolical, dude. This girl deserves an Academy Award winner fucking trophy for this performance that she did as my friend. So I drive back the next day and I literally hit up the baby daddy and I was like, hey, so check it out. Make sure she's not in that house when I get there because I will freak the fuck out. So I drive the 8-9 hours home. I get home. She was supposed to package stuff for my business and she left it all sitting out and almost ruined it. And there was a note on the table on a piece of printer paper written in green children's marker saying that I had 30 days to leave the house. So I changed the locks and, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm paying the bills. You're not going to tell me I have to leave. The utilities are in my name. I'm paying the mortgage on this house and you're going to tell me I have to go? I think not, sir. Yeah. So after I changed the locks and I put most of their stuff outside for them to come get, they started the petty. So, he came over the night I got back, and he had brought back some of the kids' stuff that he shouldn't have taken, like a bear from their dad who passed away, and, you know, blankets and stuff like that. So he comes over, and I had just bought him the phone that he had. So I was like, I want my phone back. And he was refusing to give me the phone. So he was doing something, and I grabbed it off of the seat of the car. He chased me into the street, knocked me down, and literally, not intentionally, but reaching around me to try and grab the phone, hurt me pretty bad a few times, and took the phone back. And so I went to the emergency room. I filed a report. And the next day I told him, like, you need to give that phone back to me. I don't care if you wipe it. So he wiped the phone, and silly him, he still had his email logged into my laptop. So I went into his Samsung account and changed the password and re-downloaded everything in the phone. Yes, I work fucking FBI status. I literally saw all the texts between them, all of them, talking about me, talking shit about me, telling each other they love each other. And when I confronted him on this, he's like, well, I thought you would never find out and we would still get married. So what did you think, that you were just going to have like side girlfriend the whole time? Like, and it's crazy because there's this song by Halsey and Kelsey Ballerini, and it's called The Other Girl. And I loved that song. It was so beautiful and sad. And I played it for her, and she kind of laughed. And now I understand why. And honestly, I can't even listen to that song anymore. She ruined it for me. Like, it will literally bring me to tears. So after this happens, they called Child Protective Services on me twice, saying that I beat my baby daddy in front of my kids. So I had CPS at my house, and they came and talked to my kids. And of course, my kids told them the truth, and it's not what they said. So, the social worker, when he left, said that I had a beautiful relationship with my children and have a nice day. And I never saw that dude again. On top of that, they took my key to the gate, so I couldn't roll my trash out. They took the mail key, so I couldn't check the mail to pay the bills. They literally took the $8,000 stimulus that he got for me and the 4 children, and paid $3,000 of it to a custody filing. They literally had a paralegal file papers saying that I'm an unfit parent, and saying that there's no food in my fridge and empty alcohol bottles laying all around my house. And this isn't fair because I broke up with him and then they started talking, and I'm just mad and jealous. Yeah, check it out, dog. Even if you would have started talking after we broke up, that's still gross because that's supposed to be my best friend. So for her to do that to me, wild. You, I expected it from because you'd done it before. And with other people I thought were my friends. So it wasn't shocking when it came from him. What was shocking is that this girl that I loved sat in my face and lied to me every day for 9 months while we all lived together. And what's even more wild is that his parents, his family, her parents, her family, and all of their friends knew what was going on, and no one thought to clue me in. Everyone knew that what they were doing behind my back. They were literally meeting up at other people's houses to go hook up and shit. So, he filed the emergency custody orders. He lost. They tried to give them the wrong phone number for the emergency custody orders, because if I wouldn't have showed up, I would have automatically lost. And then, after that, we set mediation. In the mediation, I got my way because I was right. In my custody order, it literally said she is not allowed around my kids. And that him and his parents are not allowed to speak ill of me in front of my children. Which they don't follow that to this very day. But, I literally had to struggle after that. Like, so hard. I worked my ass off, and I had 4 kids with me, 50-50. I gave him 50-50. I gave him half custody of 2 kids that aren't even biologically his, because he has been in their life since my 13-year-old was like 9 months. And when their dad passed away, he really did step up and step in. And, you know, I do appreciate that. I can say, like, the one good thing that I can say about this man is he's a great father. He really is. He really cares about our kids. And, you know, I would never take them from him. Ever. Like he tried to do to me. And the whole reason he filed these orders is because I told him he could take the kids, but not if he was going to have her around them. Because how dare you sit there in my home while I pay for your life and you treat me like you love me, but you're texting, talking about how you hate me and I'm a dumb bitch and this, that, and the other. And, you know, like, you want to be around my kids? Like, you don't deserve to be around my children at that point. So, you know, all of this. And honestly, like, at the time, I was pretty heartbroken over it. Like, simply for the fact, like, of what she did. It was more of her betrayal that hurt. And to this very day, she does things that irritate my soul. Like, you know, I just don't understand what she thinks her place is. Like, those are my children, and no one will ever take them from me. I made 4 kids and I have never not had custody. I have never not had time with them. I have never, ever not wanted them with me. So, like, she should have picked somebody else. Somebody who was like a crackhead or, you know, didn't really enjoy having kids. Cause I am that mom, dude. I am the mom that does the holidays and the crazy hair day and the reading stories before bedtime. That is my jam. Like, that is probably the thing I'm best at in the world, is being a mom. So, you know, they tried to take my kids. That didn't work. After that, they literally proceeded to, you know, slander me on the internet. He was like, yeah, I cheated on her, but she didn't love me right. And I slept with one person and she slept with 8 since, which is totally not true. He just wanted to make himself not look like the bad guy. And, you know, it was really hard for me because I hate when people do terrible things to you and then they try and gaslight you and make you look crazy. And it's a really hard thing to deal with, honestly. And, like, you know, I didn't handle it very well at first. And then I got to the point where I realized something after my dad gave me some pearls of wisdom. And it's like, you know, nobody ever wants to admit that they're a piece of shit. Nobody wants other people to know who they really are when they are like that. So, you know, I just had to know in my mind, I know what happened, and I saw the text, and I may or may not have sent them to literally everyone in his contacts as well. Whoops. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You know what I mean? Like, you guys tried to ruin my whole life. You tried to get my kids taken. You tried to take everything from me. And, you know, getting over something like that is not easy. And it took time. And it took a lot of, you know, yoga and meditation and grounding. Because, you know, mental health is important and I need to have my best mental health for my children. So, you know, and like to this very day, they are together still. This happened in, I think 2019, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was 2019. And, you know, they're still together. Joke's on her though. He's cheated on her multiple times. At one point, a couple months after all this had happened, I let him come to stay back in the house with me because I was paying everything alone. He wanted to get back together. And of course I knew I didn't want to be with him, but for the sake of trying to get him to help pay the bills where his kids live, I was like, all right, well, I'll make you a deal. If you can not lie to me and not hide shit from me, I'll think about it. He was literally cheating on her with some other girl that was his friend's friend. And I ended up questioning him. I'm like, you slept with this chick, didn't you? And he straight told me no to my face. And at this point, I can tell when he's lying. So he was like, no. And I'm like, you're lying. I know you're lying. Like, tell me the truth, dude. And so he was like, yes, I did. And I'm like, so you cheated on Ashley with her and then decided you don't want either of them, you want to be with me, but you're still talking to her and you're still driving Ashley's car. Like, I'm good, dude. And she actually showed up at the house banging on the door at midnight, all drunk. It was ridiculous. But, you know, after that, I was like, you know, you need to leave again. Like, I don't need you here. I don't need you to pay bills for the kids that bad. Like, I'll handle it myself. And I did. My kids, I dropped $2,000 on them for Christmas that year and bought myself a Puffco and a new laptop. So, you know, work hard, play harder. At this point, I gave him permission to have her around the children because he needed help, because he's working. So I was kind enough to do so. They will literally still irk my nerves all the time. She literally called me a psycho where my son could hear it the other day, and I went the fuck off on her in a text, because if I can be civil and polite after what you did, like, you can too. And don't talk about me in front of my kids. Like, that's out. Like, you know, I guess some people's parents just raise them differently. My parents had morals. And, you know, in all reality, if anyone should be angry, it's me. But I'm not. Because in the end, she kind of did me a favor. She took that trash off my hands like the trash panda she is. And I was free to go live my life the way I wanted without someone always yelling at me, constantly angry, constantly putting me down, constantly upset with the people who would compliment me, constantly upset with just about everything. So, you know, I forgive them, and not for them, for me, because forgiveness isn't for the other person. It's for you, so that you're not holding on to that anger and letting it grow inside of you into a like monstrous ball of rage, because that is not good for your mental health. So, you know, like, even though they didn't deserve my forgiveness, they have it. And, you know, we all go to events like the kids' birthdays or baseball games. And does she irritate the hell out of me sometimes? Yeah. Do I ever want to be her friend again? Absolutely fucking not. But I will be civil and cordial around my children, because for their mental health and safety, I want them to see a parent who conducts themselves properly and doesn't act out like a child. So, you know, in the end, it's not for anyone but me and my children. My children deserve the best version of me that I can give them. And, you know, I'm trying to grow and work on that every day. So, you know, it's one step at a time, and I'm not perfect. I definitely make mistakes. Totally make mistakes. You know, see podcast episode number 2, getting married. That one was a mistake. But, you know, I literally, you live and you learn, and you grow. And if you don't make mistakes, you'll never know what not to do. And if you don't date the wrong people, you'll never know what you really want in a partner. And yes, I wasted a lot of time with him. 8 years is a long time to be with a person, for them to be cheating on you the whole time. And I, like, you know, the last time was just the worst and most embarrassing. So at that point, you know, it was my good reason to walk away, because the last time I left him, everyone was like, oh my God, but you guys have a family and this, that, and the other. We can still be a family for the kids when they need us to be a family, but like, we are not going to be together. We are co-parents. And honestly, I wish more women would have this mentality, because I really, really despise women who keep children from their fathers unless there is a valid reason. Because let me tell you, if I can let that man have 50-50 of our 2 children and 2 children that he basically adopted when their father passed away, y'all women need to stop. This is not acceptable. So, you know, maybe think about how your actions affect your children, because that is the best way to determine a good path. All right, guys. Well, it was great letting it out. It was a very blunt truth. And, there are so many things you can do when something like this happens to you to be petty or to, try and get back at people. And I'm telling you, that is not the way. Hit your bong, calm down, and make good choices. Thank y'all for tuning in to Spiritual Bong Water, and have a great day.